Assalamualaikum and hi. In this video, we are going to look into how to print different kinds of pattern using Java looping statement. So let's start with these questions here where it says run the codes below and observe the output. So we're going to run this one and you will actually see a right triangle here. And I'm going to go through with you how you can actually print this right triangle before we move on to the next stage of the questions. Now let's start with the outer loop first. Okay, we have a initialization here, integer row equal to 5. Outer loop for integer I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 5. Okay, because my row here is 5, I plus plus. Then I have a inner loop where I say for integer j is equal to 1. Okay, j less than or equal to I, so it depends on the value that is going to increase throughout the loop. J plus plus, I'm going to print a star here. Okay, so for the first looping, okay, for the first looping here, I have I equal to 1. 1 is less than or equal to 5. So this condition is actually true, right? 1 is less than or equal to 5. I will straight away go to the inner loop. Remember, in my for loop, this is step 1. Okay, this is step 2. Then I will have step 3 before I move on to the increment step 4. Okay, condition is true. Move into the inner loop. In the inner loop, I have j is equal to 1. Okay, j is equal to 1. J, so 1, my j is 1 here, is less than or equal to I. I is 1, so 1 is less than or equal to 1, which is true. Okay, if it's true, then I will print a star, which is this star here, 1 star. Then I will do j plus plus. So now my j is equal to 2. Okay, again, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. J is equal to 2. Check on the conditions. 2 is less than or equal to 1. Now I got a false here, right? I got a false here. Okay. If I got a false here, then I will need to go back to the outer loop because I need to come out from the inner loop. I've done with the inner loop, but I'm not going to exit straight away. I need to go back to the inner loop. Now, if I go back to the inner loop, now my I will become 2, right? Because for the first loop, I is 1, I plus plus, now I is equal to 2. 2 is less than or equal to 5, which is true in this case. So I can proceed with the inner loop. So whenever now I go back into my inner loop, the j is already reset. So I will start with j is equal to 1. J is equal to 1. 1 is less than or equal to I. Now my I is 2. Okay, so which is true here. I will print 1 star, which is this one, right? 1 star here. After I print this 1 star here, I do j plus plus. Now my j is equal to 2. 2 is less than or equal to 2. This is still true. So I print another star here. So you can see here, this is my second star. Now j is equal to 3. 3 is less than or equal to 2. This is false. Okay, this is false. So I will need to come out from the inner loop and again go back to my outer loop. If you notice here, why I have these two x, 1, 2 in the same line is because I'm using print. Okay, I'm not using print line. But why I have this x here at the first line and these two at the second line is because here I have this system.out.print line, okay, where I start everything in a new line. That's why you'll see the first round, the first line, the second round, the second line. Now we will do one more. The third loop here is I is equal to 3. 3 is less than or equal to 5. In this case, is true. Okay. Remember, then we go back to J. Okay, we go into the inner loop here. J is equal to 1. 1 less than or equal to 2. This is true. I move on up until the end here. J is equal to 3. 3 is less than or equal to 3, which is true here. Okay, sorry, this is 3, right? Because now my I is 3. That's why you will see 3 asterisk or 3 star here. And then you move on to I equal to 4 and I equal to 5. Of course, if I equal to 5, then you will see these 5 star here. But then if I equal to 5, I plus plus. Now, when my I is equal to 6, when my I is equal to 6, 6 is less than or equal to rows. My row is 5. So this is false. Right? This is false. That's why I straight away go out from the loop. Now, once you have understand the concept of how to print the right triangle, remember the one that we have done earlier. So if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Once you have understand the concepts of how to print this, now we would like you to print something like this. Okay. You still have the right triangle. Remember, we call this as the right triangle. But within that right triangles, these are now numbers. Okay, these are all numbers instead of having the stars. Okay, so how you're going to print the numbers? So what I'm going to do here first is I'm going to copy paste the code here and put it here. Okay. I'm going to run this again. And of course, I will still see the star here. You just need to do a very little modifications with the code to get this 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 will be you need to change this here, the star to J. Okay, you just need to print the value of J. Now, if I run this, okay, I will see 1, 1, 2, but there's another modifications that I need, which is the output here, there's a space in between the numbers. So what I need to do is for this print line, I just add another space. Okay. So here J is the numbers, and then I add another space so that there will be space in between the numbers. Let's run this again. And you will see 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the concept of this is actually similar to what we have learned earlier. So let's maybe go through a few loops from this example. Same here, I is equal to 1. 1 is less than row, which is 5. So this is true. Now I go to my inner loop, J is equal to 1. Okay. When J is equal to 1, 1 is less than or equal to 5. This is true here. So what I'm going to print is I'm going to print my J. So when I print my J means I print 1. Okay, so that's why I get 1 here. Okay. Now next, I have J is equal to 2 because I increase the J plus plus here. 2 is less than or equal to in this case, sorry, in this case will be, what is my I? My I is 1, right? 1, okay, so this is false here. So I'll need to go back to the outer loop, okay? So when I go back to the outer loop, now I is equal to 2 because it's increased 1, right? I plus plus. Now, 2 is less than 5, which is true, okay? Go back to J. J is equal to 1. 1 is less than or equal to 2, right? To 2 here. Okay, so this is true, and I print 1 here. I print 1 here. Okay, now move on. J is equal to 2. 2 is less than or equal to 2. This is true here. So I will print my J. So I will print 2 here. And I increase it. J plus plus J is equal to 3. 3 less than or equal to 2. This is false. So I go back. I go to the outer loop again. And I will proceed. That's why you will see here where in the first loop you have 1, and then you have 1, 2, and then towards the end you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A little corrections here just now in the first loop. This should be J equal to 1, 1 less than or equal to I. My I is 1. Okay, this is 1. This is not 5. So you can see the I here keep on changing based on the numbers of loop that you have went through. So now for our final questions, what we're going to do is we're going to print what we call as a downward triangle. Right. What we have done just now is we print a right triangle, something like this. You have 1, 2, and then so on. And we have seen also an example where we print the numbers. Okay. Now we want to print a downward triangle. Okay. And let's look into how we can actually do this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy and paste the previous code. And of course, I will need to do some modifications on this one. As we know, if I run this, I will get the right triangle here. And if we look into this, then we kind of know that you need to do some modifications in terms of the I here, because I is the one that decides how many stars will be printed. Okay, so what I'll do is because there's a decrement there from 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to start from the big number or the maximum number here, which is rows. Okay, so for integer is equal to rows. I is greater or equal to 1. Okay, so it means from 5 to 1. Okay, I will do, instead of plus plus, I will do I minus minus. So I just need to change the outer loop, and let's run this. Okay, and yes, you will see something like this. As usual, we will need to add a space. Okay, so that because the output here we need to have some spaces. So here I run it again. So you see something exactly the same as the output that we have here. Remember just now we have I equal to 1, then we will see this right triangle. Okay. But now if we change the initializations here, I is equal to rows, this means that now my I is equal to 5. So my I start with 5. So if my 5 is greater or equal to 1, which in this case is true, 5 is greater or equal to 1, I'm going to do I minus minus, but this is again step 4, right? So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I go into my inner loop here. Now, when I go into my inner loop here, my J is 1, equal to 1. So J here is of course 1. 1 is less than or equal to my I is 5, right? My I is 5. So 1 is less than or equal to 5. This is true. Okay, so I'm going to print the star, right? I print 1 stars. Okay, I print 1 stars here. Okay, and then of course I have a space here. Then I move on to J is equal to 2, right? J is equal to 2. 2 is less than or equal to 5, which is still true. So I print another 1. Well, for clarity, I just draw it here in here, because remember we use print, so everything should be at the same line. J is equal to 3. 3 is less than or equal to 5. This should be true. Another star here. J is equal to 4. 4 is less than or equal to 5. This is true. Another star here. j is equal to 5, 5 is less than or equal to 5, true. Okay, so I get 5 star here. So that's why you will see the first line is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 stars. Okay. Now, once I've done that, when my j is equal to 6, 6 is less than or equal to 5. In this case, this is now false. False, the same concept, I go back to my outer loop. Okay, I go back to my outer loop. When I go back to my outer loop, now I minus minus, so my I will be decreased by 1. Initially, my I is 5. So I now is 5 minus 1, so my I is now 4. 4 is still greater or equal than 1. Okay, this is true. Now I go back into my inner loop here. My inner loop will be j is equal to 1. Remember, everything is reset here. Once I came out from the inner loop, I go back to the outer loop, start with a new I. When I go back in again to my inner loop, the j is reset. Now, j is equal to 1. 1 is less than or equal to 4. Okay, remember why it's 4? Because now my I is 4, right? My I is 4. I is less than or equal to 4. This is true. I print 1 stars, okay? And then 2 star j is equal to 2. 3 star j is equal to 3. 4 star j is equal to 4. Now, if j is equal to 5, 5 is less than or equal to 4. This is false. I need to go back to the outer loop here, and my I now will become 3 because 4 minus 1. So because it's 3, I'll get 3 stars. And then I'll decrease it to I is equal to 2. So I get 2 stars here. And finally, I is equal to 1. I get 1 star. That's why we see a downward triangle, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. When my I is equal to 5, as my I decrease due to this I minus minus, so towards the end, I only get 1 star. So you'll see a downward triangle. So I hope you have a better understanding of how this looping works, specifically the nested looping, how we can actually manipulate the initializations of I or the conditions to print different kinds of patterns in Java. So I think that's it for this video. Thank you very much.